am Laura McHenry. I am VP Marketing at Tealium, a tech vendor. First promise today, I am not going to try to sell Tealium to you. But I am going to talk about why technology is essential to deliver the kind of customer experience that consumers are more and more looking for. I'm also going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. Now, if we were going for the original story, we would be talking about how Mummy Pig casts out her 3 little pigs because she cannot afford to clothe or feed them. That would mean this presentation would need to be about the importance of safeguarding our societal responsibility for the most vulnerable, whether or not the Tory government have actually done anything for the working classes since they came to power. But thankfully, I'm not qualified to talk about any of that. So instead, we're going to talk about professional, innovative grafters. That's marketers. They all had a shared goal. They all wanted something very similar. They wanted to create and deliver a marketing strategy that demonstrated hyper-empathy. It's hyper-empathy. Hyper-empathy means you know me, you see me, you get where I'm at, and you're going to talk to me across every touch point with your brand in a way that really resonates with me, in a way that is of the moment, and a word that we don't use enough, in a way that is useful. And that strategy is going to be agile. We've seen a lot of big brands disappear over the past few years. I'm not going to be pat and say, well, if only they'd had a digital transformation strategy, they'd still be here. But it is more than likely a contributing factor. Agility, the ability to move, respond at pace, the ability to understand what's going on right now and adjust. Marketers are great at agility. It's in our DNA. And we want our brand to be trusted. Now, I know that's not a marketing-only goal. That's an entire business objective. But for marketers especially, over the past few years with the rise of GDPR, CCPA, any 4-letter acronym you can think of, we've seen more and more how data, how you take my data, how you hold my data, how you use my data, more and more demonstrates my trust in you as a brand. Are you doing what you say you're going to do in the way you say you're going to do it? They've also all got the same concerns. Now, if I took a straw poll here, excuse the pun, I'm here all day. If we took a straw poll here, there would be more than 4 big concerns. But let's break it down. Where is my budget? The cry through the ages. So here, for a point of reference, nearly 2/3 of CMOs think over the next 12 months their budget is going to stay static or decrease. To give you a bit of history on that, last year that was about 40%. No one's budget is growing dramatically anytime soon. Optimize the privacy and personalization paradox. What is that? Remember we said, I want you to deal with me with hyper-empathy. I want you to know me. I want you to understand me. But I'm not sure I want to give you the data that's going to enable you to do that. Why do I say optimize? I was talking to Lufthansa the other day, and they have turned this into a competitive advantage. Quick segue. We all A/B test, right? We A/B test everything. We A/B test our website. We A/B test our graphics. We A/B test our creatives. We A/B test our ads. Lufthansa A/B tested all of their privacy language, all of their consent language. They A/B tested all of it. So they ended up with a message that consumers really understood in terms of that value exchange. I give you my data, and this is what I get back. So optimize, because it can be a benefit. Third-party cookie loss. We've been talking about this for ages, but I'm yet to understand a brand that has really got a plan in place. We're still very loosey-goosey around this, and if we drill this down to its most basic level, you won't be able to understand where your ad spend's going. At the most basic level, that on its own is enough to say we need to move from third-party cookies and third-party data to a first-party data collection strategy. It is essential. Think about how much you're spending on your social ads. You've got to know what's working and what's not working. And finally, the future of ever-increasing touch points. We already know there are gazillions. We'll start with devices. I might buy from you on my work phone, my personal phone, my work laptop, my personal laptop, my family iPad, my smart device. Then we look at the social channels that are increasing as well. Companies now working on TikTok, Snapchat, Insta. The metaverse. These aren't going to shrink. This list isn't going to get smaller. This list is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So they all take this problem and they all go about it in various ways. The commonality here is they all think they've got a customer data platform, something akin to a customer data platform, or something that does the same job as a customer data platform. We're back on story now. The first little pig made its house of straw. So here we go, his first-party recollection. We had a journalist on the scene. And this is most of us. I think I'm doing pretty much what everyone else is doing, to be honest. We're grabbing a load of data, we're combining some of it. Yeah, do we need to go on about it? It's not delivering that hyper-empathetic messaging that we're talking about. Did you know 62% of brands say they gather as much data as humanly possible? It's a lot of data. But of that, 27% are only using 3/4 of it or more. Grabbing data for the sake of grabbing data. It doesn't work. It's not joined up. And that is why, insert your own huffing and puffing noises, I should make you do audience participation to really get everybody awake. That's why pig number 1 got eaten. The ever-increasing touch points, they're not set up for it, they're not recognizing it, they're not combining it together to understand where I am on their journey. Lack of real-time updates. Do you know how many brands still do batch updates? It's terrifying. How can you tell me, how can you send me something that's useful, our word of the day, if you're not going to know what I've just done with your brand until next Wednesday? Batch updates need to become a thing of the past. We have to operate in real time. And there's no plan for third-party cookie loss. This guy's going to do spray and pray and hope for the best. So let's move on a step. Marketer number 2, building with straw. He's feeling quite chill about the whole thing, to be honest. Saying, we're pulling all the data together pretty much. I think we can react in real time. We're vendor neutral. We're not all red. We're not all blue. We can look at different touch points. How's he doing it? Well, he's built it internally. He's spoken to his IT team. He said what he needs. And they've put together an in-house data layer, for want of a better phrase. And that works for now. It's all right. It's not dire. But problems. Cobbler's children. We all have this. Anyone who relies on an internal team to support them. The cobbler's children had no shoes because the cobbler was too busy making shoes for people who would pay. Your IT team aren't just there to manage your data layer. They have a lot of other responsibilities. They have a lot of other priorities. If something catches fire over here, something is going to fall off the scale over here. Outsourcing. One of the most important things with our data is being able to look at it quickly, agilely, understand what's working, what's not working, make a change. Now, how is he doing it? Well, downloading batch data, shipping it off to his internal data science team, shipping it outside the business altogether. Can you tell me how this segment's performing? Can you give me a view of the customer journey? 2 days later, it comes back. It's a bit late. It's 2 days of missed opportunities, 2 days of missed knowledge. We need to be able to see now what's happening. No centralized consent. We talked about the ever-increasing touch points a lot. Every touch point comes a need for more permissioning, comes a need for more consent management. If your consent management isn't intrinsically combined with your data layer, customer data platform, you're going to start to really struggle. You want it all in one place. For the customer's benefit, sure, to be trusted, absolutely, but for your benefit. Nobody wants the IPO knocking on the door. For your benefit too, centralized consent management. And this is the thing that pig number 2 has missed. Number 3, here we go. Let's get some foundations in place. First-party data connected in one place, in real time, pulling data from every conceivable touch point, unifying it, adding insight on top of it, and making it actionable in that moment through any possible method you want is the future. When we think about this, the thing we always seem to miss is how much it costs us to acquire a customer. We know it's exceptionally expensive. And when we think about touch points, we tend to think about touch points in terms of acquiring customers. We don't think about it in terms of keeping the customers we've already got. So when we think about the customer journey, when you want to complain, you used to have to phone up, send an email. But now you can WhatsApp. Now you can DM through Insta. Now you can go through Facebook Messenger. Again, if I've just complained that your product's broken or it's not arrived or it's missing, do I want to be remarketed right now by email? No, I don't. I want to see that demonstration of hyper-empathy. And someone said to me the other day, when does a digital transformation strategy end? That's a very optimistic question, because the answer is it doesn't. This is something that has to run and grow and evolve. Because touch points are always growing. Customer behaviors are always changing. Technology is always developing. It's an always-on project. And to just prove to you that I've not lost my marbles, people who invested in a CDP, customer data platform, from any vendor, I'm not flogging Tealium, this is why. This is what we've talked about. So, in summary, I know most of you agree with me because 87% of marketers say that data remains their most underutilized asset. So we've got to get on it. And what's the wolf in this story? Is it complacency? Is that too harsh? I think the wolf is not acting with speed. The wolf is going slow. Think about the mantra here this year. Because you might think you're doing what you've always done, but some brands are out there, some brands are doing it. And to a consumer, you look like you're going backwards. So it's incredibly important that last building analogy, that we make a concrete foundation of data if we're going to grow on top of it, if we're going to develop, and if we're going to deliver the kind of customer experience that consumers are indicating more and more that they want and they expect. And now, the end. You can all grab yourself some lunch or sit and listen to the next magnificent speaker. Thank you all very much for listening.